What is up, you guys? This is your host, Jay the Great, and welcome to another episode of Jay Talks. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Jay the Great here. It is a lovely Thursday afternoon. And yes, I am doing a podcast on my own this time. This is a Jay Talks podcast. I hope you enjoyed the very first J&J podcast. I believe it was last week. I hope you enjoyed that one. Shout out to my co-host John. Shout out to my first guest of honor and recurring guest, Wildcat Bold. The reason I'm doing it on my own here today is one, for you guys to practice my own speaking, just with my own thoughts, and of course for them, so I could be a better host myself. But I hope you guys are doing well in this bizarre time that we are living in. Obviously, as we probably all know out there. But as far as the riots and Corona, it seems like things are looking up. Restrictions are starting to be, more laid back, and riots seem to be coming to a end. But what I still do feel in the air, and I felt this personally, is a sense of hostility, a sense of just, anger with certain individuals that I interacted with. I don't know. It wasn't even about politics. It was just regular, everyday interactions that we all have, and it's very bizarre how hostile people are. It's like I call it, the vibrations, in the air, and I think it's a spiritual thing. It's my opinion. This spiritual warfare in the air between good and evil. Whatever you want to call it, angels and demons, or whatever you believe in. I just think, with all this chaos that's been, upon us, there's been a lot of bad vibrations, bad just air in the atmosphere, and I could feel it. I think we all could feel it everywhere we go when we're out in the outside world, from quarantine to riots to political disagreements. But this is one thing I think we should all try to strive for, is peace. Peace solves all problems. And being hostile to the other side, whatever you think that is, and I'm talking about politics here. Being hostile won't get you anywhere with anybody. Humans, when they feel attacked, there's less room in their head for compromise, So when you're having these political discussions here with all this other stuff, I'm not going to get specific because I don't want to get political here, but I'm just talking about being a human being, no matter the race, no matter the background, whether the guy's rich or poor, black or white, purple or blue, green, doesn't matter whatever color they are, they deserve to be treated fairly and justly, just the same way you are, and they have an opinion as well. What I see certain people do is if you're not the typical minority, your opinion is immediately invalidated by that side, and that is not fair. That's not fair. That's not moral. That's not the way things should be. So if a white upper class man has an opinion, people are quick to say he doesn't know anything. He hasn't lived through the oppression. This is very bizarre, very unfair. And I would say the same thing if it was the other way around. If it was a poor minority that had an opinion, they said, well, you're poor, you don't know any better. That would be unfair too. What we need to do is look for true equality among all races, among all people, among all social classes. That's what we should be striving for, and that's my opinion, and I think that's fair. I think it's very fair. The left and the right do this. They both do the same thing. And I mean, as far as, the political sides. Um, the truth is, most people are in the middle. And they're in that middle. There's only one topic that seems to drive them to think they're on one side, but they're really not. They're in the middle, and that's most people. Yeah, it could be abortion, it could be gun rights, it could be this that, but most of the small things, they're in the middle. And the media is such a powerful presence. What the media is intended to be is an unbiased, objective source of information. It hasn't been that in a long, long, long time. So this is what I tell you, the listener. This is my advice. And of course, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm not a political scientist. I'm not a psychologist, but this is my opinion. Go to unbiased sources when coming up with a conclusion, with your own viewpoints. Don't go to CNN. Don't go to Fox. Don't go to the right or left because they're both unbiased and they both try to sway you. That's their purpose, not to inform you, but to influence you, you know? And I say go to unbiased sources. I'm talking about sources that just give you the numbers and you come up with your own viewpoint from there. Maybe uh, whatever you're trying to search up, whether it's COVID numbers, go to the CDC, whether it's, statistics about crime, go to the whatever there is, FBI, Homeland Security, whatever, unbiased, objective sources. They just give you the numbers right then and there. Um, this is my opinion, but there's also there's another topic that I was listening to, from the great Joe Rogan, and he had Andrew Schultz on, a great comedian. They were talking about the just the bizarre statements that I don't know what specific medical practitioners have. I don't know who specifically said this, but there are some that said it's okay to protest and it won't make COVID worse. So Andrew Schultz, I don't know if he was reading it. I don't know if he was joking or not. I hope he was. He was reading something saying, basically, the medical practitioner was saying it's okay to riot. It's not okay to riot about COVID, but it's okay to riot about, you know, the racial injustices that people believe there are. Um, that's just pathetic. That's pathetic to me. So you're trying to pull it. You rather, you know, satisfy the left wing than than beat this COVID crap. That's what you're telling me. Because no one's gonna believe that. Who would believe your bullshit? That's bullshit. That's pathetic. It's bizarre. It's bizarre that this is the time we live in, where people are so desperate to satisfy the left that they'd rather put people's health at risk just to have some protests. It's sad. It's sad, and it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. The best that we can do, as individuals in this society, is do our part. Be safe. Be peaceful. And I really believe things will go well for you. Do what you love. Don't fight with people if you can avoid it. Be a peaceful person. Listen to all sides and come up with your own fair, just point of life. You know, it's this idea that we have to pick a side and be on a side and hate everyone that's not on our side. It's bullshit. That's not peaceful. That's not peace. You're not gonna get anywhere with that. You're gonna create more chaos, and it's not gonna get us anywhere. Especially the young ones. We're the next generation. We can't be going into this world with hostility, you know, and resent towards other people that don't agree with us or are not the same background as us. That's not the way things should be. We need to have, remorse. We're going to be peaceful people. Peace promotes prosperity. It's bizarre time that we live in, and God willing, you know, we get to a better place soon. Um, there's COVID. I believe things are looking better. I believe something will change forever. I don't think it will be something drastic, but something will change. Um, Hopefully, these standards that these medical practitioners think keep us safe will go away soon. Going to restaurants saying, keep your mask on until you sit down, then you can take it off. Oh, so because I'm a couple feet farther from you now, it's safe to take it off. That makes sense. So thank you for making me wear it. Thank you. You know, it's bizarre. It's nonsense. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Um, but yeah, it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. So hopefully next year this is all just a bad memory, a bad dream per se, and we go back to our regular lives, better, as better people, you know, more united. This has been a hell of a year of us being tested through trials and tribulations as a nation and as a world, as you know, as a whole planet of the human race. Specifically the U.S., of course, after with the racial tension, of course, with the death of George Floyd. Um, that started a movement. That started a huge, you know, just division. Huge amount of division took place, and there was just so much hate towards one side from the other, and it's bizarre. It's sad, and I hope we can move forward. People throwing around this big words, really painting a fake narrative. This is my opinion. I'm not gonna go too much further because I don't want to start people coming at me. But I'm gonna say my opinion, and that's what it is. So I said my opinion, So I hope you respect it, and I respect yours. Point blank. Period. We got to be able to have that in a nation that is built the way this one is. With freedom of speech comes disagreements, and that's always going to be the case in an imperfect world. There's always going to be a bad apple, a bad cop, a bad lawyer. I said this in the last podcast. A bad doctor, a dirty politician. It's just always going to be the case. Human nature, is imperfect. And there's always going to be a bad apple. Like the criminal that killed George Floyd. That's a bad apple. You know, the that one dirty doctor that does something he shouldn't. That's a bad apple. It's always going to be. But people throwing around this word of institutionalized racism, institutionalized systemic. It's not accurate. It's not. It's just not accurate. We could always do better. I don't agree we can't do better than we are now. We always can. We always will be able to. Excellence, that exists. Perfection doesn't. Excellence does. Let's keep that in mind. Don't throw around these words that make it seem like something it isn't. This nation is pretty great. It's pretty great, to be honest. Humans are emotional creatures. When we see a video of someone like George Floyd, yeah, of course we're gonna be pissed off. We're quick to jump to conclusions, though. That's why you gotta come with your rational, logical side and say, hey, this guy did something wrong. He killed this innocent man. He paid the price. Victory for us. For justice was served. But to come to this idea is, oh my God, this institutionalized racism, that's not accurate. The numbers just don't show that, in my opinion. We must be united as one. And that's how this nation, how this world will prosper. So my last words on this before I go into the things that I actually want to talk about here, that gave me inspiration. These are my last words here. Just live every day, as a rational, peaceful human being. And if someone doesn't agree with you, have a peaceful discussion. Maybe they could sway you, you could sway them, but don't be insulting. Don't be hostile, because that's not going to solve anything. When you fight fire with fire, it creates more fire. It doesn't get you anywhere. You really think being hostile to the people that don't agree with you is going to make them agree with you? I understand the sense of tribalism, because as humans, we all want a tribe. We all want a team. We're humans. We're social creatures. That's just our human nature. I understand that. But we got to use our rational side, the side that isn't instinctual. We're different. We're human beings. We have something that almost no animals do. That's rationality. That's logical thoughts. You know, compassion. You know, more than any other animal when you compare it. Obviously some animals have compassion as well, but we have the most, and you got to use that in this world today, especially today's day and age. You know, so be nice, live your life with some drive, with some passion, be peaceful, be logical, and I guarantee your life will be better. You won't have this feeling of, you know, of resent and hostility. You see how peaceful people are, it'll encourage you to be peaceful. So try it out. Treat others how you want to be treated, and you'll see things will get better. We all got to do that. All of us do. None of us are perfect. But those are my last words on that. I had to speak because I feel it in the air. This sense of hostility, this sense of division and tribalism. We are all one tribe, and that's facts. But moving on, I think we can put it all aside now. Move on to the good stuff. What this podcast was made for, and that's sports. So, UFC, check it out here. UFC 250 recap. It was a nice card. I didn't see it, personally, I didn't pay for it. I just think it wasn't worth it. And I just think there wasn't enough pop in that. But I saw the highlights and I was very impressed. Of course, the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, had a dominant 5-round performance against Felicia Spencer. And Nunes is really in a spot that many combat sport athletes never really even get close to. And that's GOAT status. She's in a position where she's defended both belts. She's dominated. She's beaten all the legends. Cyborg, Rousey, Misha Tate, Shevchenko twice. Holly Holm. She's beaten everyone. The cream of the crop. So now she's in this position of what's next? Who's next? Is there anyone that can give me, a challenge and a payday? Because that's important too at her, at her stage in her career. And she is definitely, I think, just by far the GOAT now. Cyborg was there, but she's done so much more. So much more. And beaten Cyborg. Starched her the first round. So, of course, there's always this Shevchenko rematch. They asked Dana White in the post fight conference about it, and he basically said why. She beat her twice, but of course, a lot of people thought that Shevchenko could have won the second one. So there is that, But I understand Dana White's viewpoint as well. It happened twice. What does Amanda really have to earn from that? It would be a big payday. I do see that being a big payday. Sorry, guys. Because Shevchenko's a huge star as well, and she's a beast as well, an assassin. There is Megan Anderson at 145. I believe she's at 145. She's, I don't think that's gonna be, honestly, in my opinion, no disrespect to Megan, but it's not gonna be competitive. I think Amanda destroys her. I don't know. Amanda's just in this very unique position. She is the greatest of all time. And she's just, putting icing on the cake at this point, for her legacy and where she stands in the history books. But that's where she is. Great performance, complete domination. They could have stopped it early if they wanted to. She was getting beat up in the last couple rounds there, Felicia Spencer, That was the first and, of course, main event of the evening. Next, the reemergence of Cody Garbrandt. Knockout in the very last seconds of the second round. He looked good. We saw some glimpses of his old self, the speed, the power, the instincts. We saw that, that night. And let's see what's next. People are really quick to, this is what I don't really agree with, though. They're really quick to put him back in that title contention. I love Cody, but he's lost 3 straight fights by knockout. I think he has more to prove. Maybe a couple fights more where he wins against top contenders. I don't think you can put him right away at title contention. I just don't agree. Um, he looked amazing, world class. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's there yet. He won one fight. He's 1 for 4 in his last fight, 4 fights. So I think he has more to prove. Um, Aljamain Sterling, impressive performance against Cody Stanhagen. Stanhagen, I think that's how you say his name. He got a first round submission, actually. And Sterling is a very just well-rounded fighter, and that was very impressive to manhandle Cody like that, to choke him out in the way he did. It was very impressive, and he's right there for contention. Um, very impressed, very impressed, and maybe him and Cody can go at it. That'd be a great fight for contention for the next one in line for the belt. As you all know, Sonny Cejudo is as of now retired. The belt is vacated, and here we are in this peculiar position. So we see what happens next. And of course, Sean O'Malley, this dark horse in a way, starting to take over the UFC and impressed with his talent. He's just a talented man, a tall man for the 145-pound division. I believe he's like 6'3", if I'm not mistaken. I know he's a 6 something. For sure. Sorry, I keep yawning. I hate that. Bad habit. But Sean O'Malley, first round KO. It seems like that's regular with him. He's a very impressive fighter. He's gonna keep evolving as a fighter, and he has that star power. He has that star quality of him. He's a very laid back dude. He didn't really react. He kind of just had that swag in a way. When he won the fight by knockout, he just kind of walked off. Very Banders, just like Ariel Helwani said, very Barry Sanders-esque. He This is the way Barry Sanders used to walk, just kind of very business-like walk away after scoring an impressive touchdown. That's what Sean O'Malley did. I like Sean O'Malley. Very high ceiling, very high potential. But as far as UFC events coming up, sorry, I'm still kind of asleep. I literally woke up like before this podcast. UFC 252, I believe it's gonna be, what's his name? Oh no, I think that's 250. Excuse me, 250. Yeah, 252 is gonna be Stipe versus DC3. Can't wait for that one. And UFC 251, I believe. Who is the main event? I should remember this. I know Volkanovski and Holloway, Max Holloway, are gonna go for a rematch for the title. So I know that's there. I believe. Who is the main event? I'm gonna have to look this up. I apologize. I should know this. Um, being the news source that I am. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oh, that's right. Usman versus Burns. Now about that. Disappointed that it's not Masvidal. And I had a video about this. If you want to see, I'm not gonna rant again about fighters being underpaid, and that's why I believe Masvidal just didn't agree to fighting Usman. The money wasn't enough. But I guess this is enough, and they're gonna headline. In my opinion, it should be Holloway and Volkanovski. Just being honest, they should be the ones headlining. They're bigger. I think they're a bigger draw than this fight. If it was Masvidal Usman, oh hell yeah, but it is what it is. They're still on the same card. I believe Peter Yan and Jose Aldo will be fighting for the vacant bantamweight title. I don't see why Aldo's there, to be honest. I believe maybe Sterling, someone like that, someone that's been winning, should be there. I believe Peter Yan is deserving as well. Um, so that's that. I'm trying to see what else is on the card. I know there's some other fights. Rose versus Andrade too. Now Rose was a champ, and she looked spectacular when she beat you on those 2 times. She looked world class. She had all the star power. She's beautiful. She's talented. She had it all, and it's just sad that she's here now after a devastating loss like that. It sucks. Uh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting an ad here. I didn't even want to see this. Whoops, I did not mean to click on that. Okay, I'm still gonna check right now. I just saw the fights. Okay, Paige is also fighting. Great, great. Van Zant, the beautiful Mrs. Van Zant, will be fighting. Frankie Edgar is there. I think he's on the prelims. I'm guessing because this is, you know. So yeah, it's a good card. I will be paying for that one. There's enough fights for me to, you know, throw out some money to watch this. Um, so yeah, some good fights coming up. The UFC is re-emerging. You know, there's some things I don't agree. This is one thing I can't agree with Dana White. You know, this is one thing I can't agree with him with, is pushing the pace for the sports world. I think he was a leader in restarting this restarting project of life. We need our lives back. We need sports back. We need the economy to restart. We can't stay without jobs and without being able to do anything forever. That's honestly a big reason why I think the riots started. Why the riots were such a big thing. Finally, something to do. You know, a lot of them were just asshole knuckleheads. There's a lot of peaceful protests. I just think the riots were really given a lot of attention by the media. I think a lot of people were, peaceful protesters with good intentions, but these rioting assholes, I think they were just sick of being indoors and were broke and fucked up and sad, and they saw an opportunity to steal some shit. That's really what I thought the riots were. And of course, most people were, peaceful protesters. I wish they would have showed that more. It's sad. But yeah, so thank you, Dana White, for that. Moving on from the UFC, which I can't wait. There's so much to talk about. There's gonna be so much to break down and dissect, and I'm excited. Next up, NBA plans. So I was watching some videos, ESPN videos, and according to them, the format that they're gonna have, 22 game plan, 22 team plan, I believe, as far as I know. Clippers and Lakers could be a finals possible matchup. That I think is awesome. Um, to me, maybe the two best teams in the NBA. I kind of want to just double check if anything's changed. I know the Bucks are going to be in the same division as the Clippers, as far as what I saw. Uh, I'm gonna look up playoff format. I just want to see the teams on each side. I think it's already finalized, if I'm not mistaken here. Let's see if I can see any images here. Okay. I'm trying to see here. I saw it earlier. I'm trying to see what we got here. Okay. Sorry guys. I'm trying to. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. 22 team format. So yeah, apparently that's going to be the plan. Um, I talked about it in my last podcast with my guys, with my guest Wildcat and my co-host on my other podcast, J&J Podcast. Well, I should say our podcast, because we're both the co-hosts. I don't really see the format. I saw it on a video. I think I'm gonna look a little more and then I'll stop because I want to continue here. Um, but this is what I do know. I know to make it to the finals, the Lakers would probably have to face the Raptors. I forget what team they're facing. First, they have to face like the first team. It's like the playoffs, right? The first round, the semifinals, and then the conference finals, um, and then the finals. I know most likely it's gonna be the Raptors and the Lakers because they look like the best two teams in that bracket, and they're gonna beat their teams and then face each other to the finals. Um, is that fair? I don't really think so. I think LeBron starches them first of all. Um, Milwaukee's going to be a threat though to the Clippers because I know they're on the other side, the other bracket, um, the other side. Like the West East. Basically, they're on. I guess would be the West. I'm not really sure, but the Clippers have to face them. The Lakers, as far as them, and the Raptors, I guess, are going to be kind of tough, but I don't think they beat more. They don't take them more than 5 games to beat them, to be honest. Um, so this is my finals prediction. It's either Milwaukee Lakers or Clippers Lakers. That's my take. And of course, being a Lakers fan, I think the Lakers win the finals. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Clippers could be on fire, or the Milwaukee could be on fire and beat them. It's very possible. But LeBron's been there enough. He looks good. He's still world class in my opinion, and I think he gets the job done. He gets his fourth ring. At least I'm hoping so. Of course, I have a biased. I admit I'm biased. I love LeBron. I'm a huge fan. Um, and There's just one discussion that I really liked that the ESPN was having, like Stephen A. Smith and all them, is who has the most to earn from winning a finals. I think they had Harden in the discussion. They had Giannis, Kawhi, and LeBron. They were saying Giannis has the most, high ceiling because he's the young. He's like, I believe, the youngest, and he has a very high ceiling. He's been evolving tremendously. He's been developing tremendously. He's looking world class, one of the best players on the planet. And if he start winning rings, he'll be there. He'll be in the all-time great discussion, most definitely. Kawhi, he has a couple rings of his own. He's starting to make a case for being one of the all-time greats. If he were to win another one, especially against LeBron head to head, he'd be up there for the all-time greats. Harden, for me, this is what I call Harden. And this is my opinion. I think he's what Jordan would have been if he never had Pippen or his team, but not as good. I think Jordan still would have been better. Of course, Jordan's one of the best of all time. Um, but if he were to win a ring, he'd definitely be in the all-time discussion. Maybe top 25. After that, top 20. Um, as far as his talent, it's up there with the best of all time. One of the best pure scorers ever. Um, so yeah, that's where we are. LeBron, finally, he's right there with Jordan, in my opinion. If he were to win another ring, that's just another, accolade to say he's better than Jordan. More firepower for him as far as being the greatest of all time. And if he were to win another ring, it'd just be winning a ring. First of all, he would win a ring on 3 different teams. I think he'd be the first guy to ever do it, if I'm not mistaken. Have 4 rings, and he would be a very good team. So that's my opinion. So who has the most to finally? Who has the most to earn? I think it's Giannis. I think it is him. I think they're right. He's the youngest, highest ceiling. He's still growing. So that's my take on that. I just thought that was a really cool answer. Really cool question to answer. Um. So yeah, that's the NBA. I'm very very excited. Hopefully July 31st, whatever it is, it starts, and we go back. We're back in business. Even if there's no fans, we are back in business. Hell yeah, right? I think we're all happy about that. Um, Now boxing. I haven't seen any news that's worthwhile, but I finally saw some. The great Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are gonna have a approximately $273 million mega fight, I believe, next year. And there's also a rematch clause, which is significant, which is what I believe Tyson and Wilder had themselves. After it was a draw the first time, Fury beat him and had the rematch clause. This is amazing. This is spectacular news to the boxing world. I am so fucking excited. As far as who wins, I think Fury wins. I think he's just the best on the planet. I think he's the greatest heavyweight on the planet. And Joshua just isn't ready for that. Basically, Fury, in my opinion, is a bigger, better, or what is the man's name? And Andy Reese. I think he's a bigger, better version of him. Bigger, badder, better, more driven. Andy Reese. Basically, that's what he is. He's bigger than Joshua. He's taller than Joshua. Joshua probably has more power, um, than Fury. Excuse me. But Fury, I believe, is more technical, and he's more just he knows the game more than any other heavyweight maybe on the planet. He's a master tactician, even at his size. So I think he's gonna beat the man with just technique and world class ability and world class understanding. Um, his feet work. He's gonna know Joshua in and out. We know that as a fact. Joshua, as far as Joshua, can he beat Is it impossible for him to beat Fury? Of course not. Would I be surprised if he beats Fury? Yes, I would. But he could beat him. I could be wrong. and he could beat Fury and be the top of the cream of the crop, the best in the planet. Because this title fight is for the best on the planet. It may be the best pound for pound on the planet. You know, I know Canelo's there, Lomachenko's right there. You know, there's a few guys there, but they would be right there with those guys. You know, this fight's gonna be huge, huge, massive, and I can't wait. You know, Fury can put on a show before the lights, before he's under the bright lights. You know, as we all know, he's gonna be talking shit. Fury, I know Joshua's gonna be talking his shit. He's gonna be, you know, driven by Fury's shit talking, and I know Joshua can do it as well. So I'm very, very excited. I think the whole boxing world is for this. Um, so yeah, that's that. It's a huge piece of news. I can't wait. I'm very, very, very excited for that. But also, I just want to speak on this young man that is going to be something. Shakir Stevenson. I believe he has the potential to be the best on the planet. He's very, very technically sound, very wise beyond his years. You know, I believe, won a gold medal in the Olympics. He's as technically sound as you can get, and he's driven. He's driven. He's motivated. He's inspired by the past greats. You know, and I'm really happy. I'm really excited to see what he can accomplish, which I believe is many, many world championships. You know, many world titles. So I'm very excited to see him emerge. You know, emerge as a pound for pound great and eventually an all-time great. Um, very excited for that. So yeah, the sports world is looking up. You know, it's looking exciting. Um, there's also another thing I want to talk on. I guess this is political. Drew Brees. Drew Brees being shamed for his opinion. And I know this is already done and said and done by everybody. They forgave him because he apologized for his opinion that was so bad, right? First of all, he has the right to say his opinion. Was it a bad one? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He believes, and I still think he believes this. I think he's just apologizing to avoid backlash, which I think is kind of, I'm not very impressed by that. Um, he said, I don't think we should be disrespecting the flag. You know, kneeling during the anthem. Okay, what is the point of that? How is that going to make any racial injustice that you think there is any better? Explain that to me. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's disrespectful. And I think deep down, people know that. And they're not willing to admit that it is. Let me ask you something. Has Colin Kaepernick been in a protest? In a peaceful protest at all? Since starting a movement? Has he? No, he hasn't. So this idea that he's a hero and that he knew this all along is bullshit. This is what I see. Is that he got a payday. That's all I see. A lifetime Nike sponsorship, endorsement. That's all I see. It looks like he played all of you. You know, all of you that believe he's a hero. He's not. You know, he's not. It's disrespectful. He's disrespectful, and he's not that good of a player anymore. People are saying he deserved another shot. Does he? I don't think so. I think he hurt the NFL, first of all, business wise, which matters to the NFL. And he's not really that good anymore. He's not. That's just the facts. You know? I don't know. So, this idea that you're going to accomplish anything by kneeling during the anthem is just bizarre to me. You know? Peaceful protest, that's your right. You know? Sorry, guys. I got this. Sorry. I had something turn on. You know? And I guess you have the right to kneel during the anthem, too. Right? I guess that's your right as well. I just don't agree. Peaceful protest, I think that's more understandable than a kneeling during the anthem. That's not going to solve nothing. Nothing. Except hurt your own business and hurt everything. To cause more division. Protests, I don't think you're going to cause division. You know. Riots will. Protests won't. Kneeling will. During the anthem. It's your right though. I mean, hey, it's what it is. You're not hurting anyone, so I'm not gonna say you're an awful person. I just don't agree. It's my opinion. You have the right to do it. That's why we live in this country. Do I believe you should have the right? Yes, you should. Fair enough, right? I guess we can agree to disagree here. But yeah, I just don't see him as a hero. I see him as a guy that made a payday, and that made a payday. A big payday, lifetime endorsement actually. Um, but yeah, that's my take on that. Drew Brees shouldn't have apologized. He had nothing to apologize for. He had nothing. Even his teammates going against him. That's just very sad to me. The least you could say is that's his opinion. It's the least you could say. But nope, that's division. That's tribalism. That's not the right way to approach these kind of things. It's my opinion. He has a right to speak his mind. If he said something that was fucked up, then of course, backlash is deserved. But he didn't. It's sad to me. It's very sad. Everyone was giving him shit for that. Very, very sad. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. And that's my sports news for the day. I guess closing statements. These are my closing statements for this podcast. Just try to not really make politics your life, because politics is a never-ending discussion. There's these small things that I don't think will ever agree on, that people will never ever agree on. There's just so many sides and so many solutions and possibilities in this imperfect world that we live in, that you shouldn't make it your world. Don't let the media, engulf you in this world of politics. Are politics important? Yes, of course. But don't let it become your world, Just be nice to people, Be nice to people, be nice to everyone, live your life with some passion, with some drive. Wake up every day with a purpose, a real purpose. Not to shame people for having different opinions, not to insult people that don't agree with you, but to be to success in this great nation, this great country that our forefathers built for us. Treat people how you want to be treated. It's really not that hard. We know what we got to do, and a lot of people are too stubborn to do it. The rioters, they know they're wrong. They know they are, but they don't want to admit it. It's this sense of tribalism, the sense of power that they have. That's what it is. And every human feels it. I felt it. Everyone's felt it, because we're imperfect creatures in an imperfect world. But of course, excellence does exist, and that's what we should all strive for, through peace and unity, not through hostility and division and insults and all that other shit. It's not going to work. So I hope all y'all are happy and healthy and safe. And if you watch through this whole thing, I really appreciate it. If you don't agree, then hey, that's your right. With all I had to say, that's your right. And maybe you want to discuss it with me peacefully, then I'll be happy to do so in the comments or any other social media that I, leave in the description below. But I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Next week should have another J and J podcast with my fellow co-host John, and maybe even 2 guests. That's my goal for next week. I'm not gonna say who. You'll have to wait and see and watch. But I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Very political one, very controversial, I'm sure. But I'm gonna say what I have to say, because I have the right to say it, and so do you. We all have the right. That's something we can all agree on. Freedom of speech. So that's great. But yeah, guys, I love you all, and keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. And I'll catch you in the next podcast. This is Jay the Ray signing out. Peace.